Sleepy.
What are you?
Warm. I got soup for dinner. I have soup belly.
Trey, it was 80. It was like 82 degrees today, my dude. You talking about having soup belly? Come on, man. Come on. What's going on?
Trey's getting ready for that.
All right. So when the snoring starts at the 28-minute mark, we know who to blame. Got it. Excellent. Problem solved. Okay, here we go.
Thank you for giving me 28 minutes.
All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's episode 19 of On the Button, a Star Wars Unlimited podcast. My name's Wes. I'm with my buddies Trey and Ian, my boys. I tried to mix boys and dudes, and I don't know what was going on there. My brain was not working. Ian and Trey. Ian, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just chilling, getting ready. Making some crazy weird decks and having a good time.
I feel like I should have asked Trey first. He looks like he's already dozing off down there. Like,
no. So I was all set to talk about Star Wars Unlimited, and then you were counting us down. You held up your 5 fingers, and that totally reminded me of college football because I learned something new this week. Like I know, right? I make these crazy connections in my head.
Yeah, we noticed.
One note or a couple of words, and I'll think of some off-the-wall movie quote or something. But I've been watching this. There's a guy on YouTube that breaks down film, and like he's watching this guy talk about. He like replays. Usually, I watch the A&M stuff, but like watching him talk about this guy's supposed to be here, and somebody made a mistake if you see this, and like he calling out like protections, like gets super nerdy college football stuff. And like watching this guy this season, I've had so much more fun actually watching college football now that I know a lot more of what I'm watching. And I was really good at being a fan before. So now I'm very excited.
Okay. It has been a good season for our Aggies. No, it has been a good season for our Aggies. Like the SEC shorts guys do their little battle to Aggie syndrome joke. And I feel that every single week that they tell that joke. But man, I look at how the team has played and the schedule they have left, and I feel really good about our chances. So all I can do is cross my fingers and trust, right?
Wes, people are here to talk about Star Wars Unlimited.
I tried that a few weeks ago, and you just insisted on talking about college football. So there I was trying to tee something up, a nice little human interest. This is something else that I enjoy segment for you, and you just spat in my face. So moving on, Trey. Yeah, moving on. Guys, Set 6 is here. Official release. We're here. It's on the shelves. We've all played it, probably opened some boxes by now. Talk to me. Okay, Ian's shaking his head. That would be a no. You haven't opened boxes yet.
No. I've opened 6 plus 6 plus. I've opened 18 packs, so I'm almost out of box.
Man, you are seriously slacking over there. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm pretty far behind.
What is wrong with you, sir?
I spent all my money at Boston. I am very poor right now.
All right, well, I'm starting with you anyway.
So good.
I'm starting with you anyway, Ian. Talk to me. We kind of had our little first impressions, our little faux pre-release thing we did last episode live down in the studio here in the house. But you've had a chance then. You played an actual pre-release about a week ago. You played a bunch of games last night. Even though you didn't have a ton of new cards, you played against people who were experimenting and messing around with new cards, new leaders. Talk to me.
So far, I'm liking the set. Some of the cards are playing absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
I really love. I mean, obviously, I think Cinta is a now standard aggression card. To
as predicted,
bring out Boba, do his 4 damage, smash really hard sometimes. Is really, really, really great. I love the Eye of Adolfina. Is that how you say it?
The Eye of Aldani is the name of that card.
Adani, sure.
That 1-cost blue event.
That card is so amazing when you play it timed right. I played it against Anthony.
Okay.
And he had like 5 units out. and I dropped that sucker right before I did my Yoda flip and cleared his board because he didn't want to pay. And it was quite magnificent. That card played fantastic. I saw Anthony played a whole bunch of new cards, a whole bunch of new leaders that they played okay. I think the control decks now are going to be insane.
Oh, don't get me started.
I don't know how you're going to beat hard control. He had like a semi hard control deck, and it was
that? It was that Slime Ore thing he was trying, right?
Hits. Yeah, it was missing some of the greatest hits too. Like didn't have all the control cards in it.
Yeah,
but he was trying out a bunch of the new cards and a bunch of the old cards. I didn't think these cards would play that well with a 4-space. I thought that would be like a hamper, but I was totally wrong, 100% wrong. The 4-space is definitely here to stay. I thought that was going to get the 28 point, and I just didn't think there was enough cards to generate it. But I mean, Chirrut alone is kind of worth it with Shatterpoint. So I don't know. So far, I'm really liking the set. I think it's much better than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Okay. Trey, where are you at?
So I don't think this is true, but someone has told me that I was negative about this set at one point.
They are correct. I do.
I don't recall saying those words. I think it may. If you can find anything, I'm sure it's an AI deepfake.
In fairness, we were all pretty down on the set after some of those early spoilers. I feel like they need to seriously evaluate the manner and order in which they spoil cards in a set. But that's a different conversation. Please continue.
So I did. I had some strong words, and I cannot think of a time that I have been more wrong about a card game than this particular set. Because I thought like this had vibes of Twilight, and I thought we were going to get just another Twilight. And I can still feel a lot of the flavor of Twilight, and there are a lot of design flavor. I still feel like it was designed by similar people who have similar ideas of similar ways of expressing themselves through cards. But this set plays so well. I have had so much fun. I've had so much fun playing the cards. I have had so much fun. Like we went in last night with our open play. I hadn't made a single deck. I've been too busy to make a single deck. And I borrowed decks from West. I borrowed it from you. I borrowed multiple decks from Ian. I borrowed decks from other people. And I just had a ball playing. I had a ball playing cards in Constructed. And they play in different ways. That's one of the things that I think makes this set so much fun is it introduces just new ways to do things. Like Ian had some decks. I don't want to go into the decks just quite yet. But I just have had so many fun interactions. Like cards that I was super down on before, like the little scrabbly 3/3 Grievous that you pick up every turn, like when somebody attacks it.
You repeatedly dunked that card.
Yeah, because it's dumb. But it turns out that it has all these other uses that you can get out of it that are really cool.
Yeah.
And so it just it hit me from an angle, like just on its face, it's dumb to play a 3/3 for 2 that you then have to keep picking up and replaying, and all I have to do is crash something. And I'm not saying it's always good, but I've seen it now used in a couple of situations to do things that are really cool. I've seen somebody have to deal damage to themselves and just chuck it into Grievous, and then if you attack Grievous, all that damage evaporates when they pick it up. It works really well with Soulless One. Like you just play Grievous and then attack with Soulless One and get all those back so you don't lose the tempo hits. Like I've seen it used quite well. When I saw it used, people didn't. It was in a Twin Suns game, and nobody wanted to attack into it.
Yeah.
So even though we could have just attacked into it,
it's a wasted action. It feels like.
Yeah.
So it may be different in Premiere. I might want to attack into it in Premiere, but when he can just immediately replay it with Soulless One, that was really impressive, and it doesn't cost him anything. So that it was a really wasted action. The list is long but distinguished of the cards that I thought were going to be bad, or they thought and then they still feel similar to how they felt when I looked at them. C-3PO as a leader, I think, is pretty fun. We'll get into that later, but I borrowed a C-3PO deck from Ian, and he handed me a box that had something in it, and I opened the box and it had C-3PO in it, and I looked at him and I was like, really? This garbage? And then I had a ball with it. I had so much fun, and it played differently. It was just incredibly fun. So I I doubt anyone at Fantasy Flight that makes this game pays a lot of attention to this podcast or to me and my thoughts. But for anyone that does, hats off, man. I was wrong and you guys were right. This is a fun set. I don't know how powerful it is. I don't know if it's going to like totally overtake the metagame and everybody has to play these cards. But I am having a lot of fun with these cards.
I think it's going to be like Oh, I'm sorry, Wes.
No, go.
I think the set is going to be like Shadows, where there are cards that are just permanent in your deck from this game. Like if you're making any sort of Rebel deck, you're putting in Cassian. He's random in Shadows. That's what I think this set's going to be. Certain cards that just slot in.
Nimic is a new staple. If you're playing red-white hero or you're playing Rebel, Nimic is just a new staple rare in your deck, just as regular as Uncommon Sabine unit was out of Spark of Rebellion. It's just a staple card now. It's that good, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the set so far. My pre-release events were a lot of fun. Some really interesting interactions between, and I think the mechanic that surprised me the most is Disclose. Plot more or less, because Plot functions like more or less like Smuggle does. It just has a unique trigger window. Plot works pretty much exactly like, okay, the impact Plot had was like, okay, yeah, I kind of figured this out because Smuggle works basically the same way. But the Disclose mechanics are really interesting because, you know, they pointed this out on a couple of the streams that they did leading up to this set. They can potentially drive resource decisions. Or you find yourself holding onto a card but unable to do the thing with it you really want because your deck is not feeding you the stuff you want. I had a pre-release where I had there's the green Charged with Corruption, the green event that lets you disclose things and capture a dude, right? Capture. It's the green capture version. And I held that card for like, I want to say 3 or 4 turns, and I couldn't get the stupid deck to feed me 2 green aspect icons so I could play it. And finally, I just gave up and resourced the damn thing. And while that doesn't sound fun, it was because it's, you know, you're playing the game. You're you know, is that little random element. Is the deck going to give me what I need to make this work and all the rest? And so it just really, really interesting and unique card designs. The pre-releases were a ton of fun. The one place that I think we're all probably still going, I don't know, is, you know, how many of these leaders are going to translate into Premier. I think Sabe and Cassian are absolutely going to make splashes in the sense of I feel like they're strong enough that either they're going to get tried or they're going to make their way in, one or the other. Sabe for sure, because she's so manipulative, and that yellow hero shell is already so strong with so many good cards in it. I don't think she doesn't have to do a lot to be a good deck. You just have to have the knowledge of what your opponent's doing to get good value out of your leader. If you can rough out what your opponent's doing and use her to manipulate what he's drawing, then you can get great value out of Sabe.
So when you say it translates to Premier, I've looked at these cards. I think you have to define, what do you mean by translate to Premier? Do you mean it wins at tournaments, or do you mean it's just fun that people are willing to play?
So there's all kinds of stuff. Go ahead.
Because the Twilight leaders, for the most part, they didn't. I mean, a couple of them played, but it was not. They were just bad. They weren't fun to play.
Agreed.
So even for like playing an open gameplay night where I want to try some theme and see if it works, I would look at leaders and be like, well, that's just not a fun card. I don't want to play it.
Yeah.
And I will say, I can already tell you that the even if they don't translate to the highest levels of competitive success, the lot of these leaders are fun.
Yes.
And so I will play them. I will try them. I will play them in Premier. Even if they may not win everything, but I'll have fun playing them. So Premier, from a kitchen table casual $5 tournament type thing to explore what this game can do. I think I at least am already there. These leaders are just fun.
For my money, what I'm talking about is leaders that are going to break up the tournament meta that we've been seeing for the last 4 months in the last set, right? You know, you look at the top echelons and it's Han 2 and it's Sabine, right? And it's some kind of blue-green villain shell, whether that's built around Iden or whoever, right? what of this new set, what leaders have the potential or likelihood to break into that world? That's what when I say that's what I'm talking about, are going to become regulars faces on the tournament circuit.
I will say I've tried the Cassian deck, and I think that one's already there, because the ability to not get all of your dudes killed all in one turn, like I can attack if I take the initiative, I just get to attack with my best guy, and you can't attack into it, kill it. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. If I've flipping Cassian and getting a hit in, and then they have to claim immediately, or I'm just going to hit again with Cassian because he can't die, because now I have the like I've played through that in some pretty, not high level, but some competitive matches, and it's been really good, and it attacks differently than like Sabine. It's kind of the same deck as Sabine. It's green and red and white, and it does really fast hit you as hard as it can, but it plays a few different cards, but it does play differently than Sabine does, and I think that's interesting.
I think it plays a longer game too. I think you play Data. I don't know that you necessarily play ECL because Cassie doesn't flip till 6. I think maybe you look at Data Vault or a regular 30 green, like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, anyways, I to me, the question is always about what's going to shake up the leader hierarchy that we've had the last 4 months. Twilight, for my money, failed to do anything this time last year when it hit the shelves in terms of that. So we had this we've talked about it before on the podcast, right? We had this kind of stagnant period where the game basically went 8 months with more or less the same kind of things running around doing what they did. And it wasn't until JTL finally made a splash that things got shaken up.
Even with Jump to Lightspeed, I think a lot of the leaders are, because they had to all be pilots. I think it was pretty narrow. A lot of them were very similar. They did similar things. And so when I explored Luke, kind of Von Reg kind of does similar things. They're a little different. Rio does similar things. Vader does, like, they are slightly different. But I think this one they were all pilots, and they all kind of messed around with space. But in this set, that you have leaders that do stuff all over the place.
But they weren't all pilots. Have you already forgotten? They weren't all pilots.
Okay, most of them were pilots. I'm just talking about
about half, yeah.
The swath of them that were pilots, or just the way that they were designed, it was all. A lot of them felt very similar when you played them. You were trying to do something cool with the spare sheep, and then put a pilot on it that gave something +1, or I don't know, like Von Reg and Rio both gave something +1. They cared if it was a fighter or transport, but they're kind of very similar. Whereas I feel like in this set, the way you've got Jabba, that like I want my damaged units, and they're going to ping yours, or you've got C-3PO that's tapping things down. Like, they all play very differently.
Yeah,
more different. As much as I love JTL, I think these leaders are more diverse, a larger cross section of fun.
Okay, I don't disagree necessarily. I don't necessarily disagree. I'm with you.
I think competitive scale wise, you're missing Palp. Chancellor Palpatine.
New Palpatine.
Strong.
New
right. Palpatine.
Right. Okay.
I think he'll make a big splash. I think control decks are going to be pretty great. Mm-hmm. And to cheat out resources at that point, and the control cards that you can cheat out with Palp are pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see.
He's going to make a good splash.
I mean,
he's in the right color combo.
He's in the right color combo.
Yeah.
I also think he possibly has the potential to be big in red for anybody who wants to lean that way as well, just because there's some really, really good red plot cards. I'm looking at you, Cinta, or Topple the Summit, or whatever, and he just basically says, I get a massive discount for playing this thing, right? So there's some other potential there, I think. I don't know that you'll see much of him in yellow, but
there are whole new decks that you couldn't even build before, like with double yellow and a color with no white or black. Like, that's true. You couldn't even conceive of putting those cards together to play before. Playing an on cost cunning with a red card.
Yeah,
that's just a whole new way to play the game. And that's really cool.
We were having to remind one of our locals yesterday had built a DJ deck. What did he have it paired with? In red? It was red, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think
red. Anyway, he had some hero cards in that deck, some yellow hero cards, and like, we had to remind him, by the way, you have to pay the aspect penalty for not having a hero symbol. He was like, oh yeah, just exactly, because that's such a paradigm shift. Such a paradigm shift. That's the one symbol hero or villain that we've never had to even worry about. If you pick the right leader, you picked the leader that matched, you just went with it. But now when you play DJ, that's relevant. So on that thought, Trey, you played in some pre-releases. You obviously have some encouraging thoughts about the leaders you tried. Talk to me about your various pre-releases. Give me the quick version.
So, well, that's no quick version of this. I'm going to talk for an hour. I played in a variety of styles of pre-releases, which I think is neat. I don't normally get to play in very many. I'll play in like the Dragon's Lair one, and then if I have one, I'll play that one, and that's kind of all I get to play in.
Which is a traditional, just here's your box, go to town thing.
Just here's your box, build it, play some rounds. Which I played a couple of those. I had a lot of good fun. I did have my own this time, which is I haven't done in a few sets. I was able to get a hold of some. I was able to get we talked last time about how I may not get the cards in time. I did get the cards in time. I was able to find a place to do a swap, and so I did that. We had people come over. We had the pre-release. It was great fun. Some off-brand, normal pre-releases. So we have a guy, Julio, does a Build-A-Box pre-release where you get a pre-release box and you buy a box and then you build a deck out of that. And I don't like there's some changes that he needs to make to it, because it's just building a 30 card, getting a box and a quarter and building a 30 card deck out of it is too many options. I need some restrictions. That's just it's kind of unrestricted. I need make the decks bigger, make them singleton. They need to do something. And I floundered, and I did open a showcase in that one. That was fun. So
nice.
Which showcase did you open? I vaguely remember this.
I opened Sabe.
Oh yes, I do remember now. Yeah.
So yeah, I've opened. I got 4 showcases now.
Oh wow!
But I have opened a lot of cards for singles. But for my singles cards, I only opened 1 from that. The rest of them came from like just general playing. But it was okay. Julio likes to run a really high stakes event where you have all those cards, you build a high power deck, and then you play for carbonite packs. And so I think you won that one, didn't you? Or you split in that one?
Yeah. So the last 2, the one for Secrets and the one for this one, Ian and I have gone to those events for a while. This was your first time going to Julio's for that event, right?
Right. That's what I was saying. I got to play in more this time. So
yeah,
this is my first time going to that one. And
yeah, my very first one that I did was for JTL, and after that one, I was like you. I was kind of not sold on it. I told myself I wouldn't do.
I like shelling a box and a quarter and like building a deck out of it.
Oh, that was fun. That was actually fun. I told myself that I wasn't going to do it again, and then Secrets rolled around and I caved, and I was glad I did, because I went 3-0 or whatever, and we ended up splitting a box of Carbonite with whoever else was up there with me, and the exact same thing happened this time. Right, we got to the 4th round. There's 2 of us that were undefeated, and is like. It was Jonathan this time, and Jonathan looks at me, and he had to go. He was drawing some wife aggro or something, and I was like, I'm happy to take 6 packs of Carbonite and get out of here. He goes, let's do it. So we just each took half the box and went away and did our thing. So totally happy with that.
What did you do to build a deck that went 3-0? Because I built like 5 decks out of it, and they all sucked. And like it was not fun to have that many choices and options and not be forced to play like something interesting.
So for me, very early,
what's broken.
Well, for me, it was kind of that. It was very early on. I looked at the kind of the power level of the rares that I had and where they fell. And I had in the pre-release box, I pulled a Captain Rex, and out of my regular box of cards, I pulled a Captain Rex. And it was like, okay, a 7/7 for 6 feels pretty good. I should probably be looking at like Leia and Blue Hero-ish. And I ended up going blue-green hero with Leia. I had 2 copies of Rex. I had my top end was really good. I had him on Mothma. I had one of the shadow crawler ambush things, at least 1 or 2 of those, and then floating around in the deck. But even stronger, in my opinion, was my low end, because you've opened so many cards. I had 3 copies of Mina Bonteri and 3 copies of the little 2/3 restore 2 senator chump, whatever that card's, Chandrilan Sponsor, I think is the name of that card. So I had a ton of cheap restore on the low end. My mid range was decent. I put in a couple of those 4-drop Nubian Star Skiffs, which also have restore on them. Oh, the star of that show, the star of that deck, for my money, the card that impressed me the most was the 6-drop hero. I think it's a 6-drop. It's called Renowned Dignitaries. It's a 5/6 overwhelm that when you play it, you heal 2 from your base for every official unit you have on the board.
Oh, yeah, it's green.
It's green. It's green. That card is
amazing.
That card is amazing in limited play. I think I had 2 of those in there. And mixing and matching all of that. The trick with that size of card pool was it would have been very, very easy for me to not include cards to be able to trigger Leia's game text. So I had to intentionally work some things in and around and pull some cards out and put in some neutral stuff so I could trigger her game text. And it worked out pretty well. I got 1 in a million to fire 3 times in that event. I had 2 of those in my deck.
Nice. That's really cool. Yeah, I've like that. That's another card that I just hated that turned out to be not as narrow as I thought it was going to be. It's not amazing.
It's not amazing. I still don't think it's a good card.
No, I had moments where I couldn't fire it, and I would like hold and do I flip? Do I not flip? Do I want to hit 1 in a million? Do I run it? It's not always good.
Right. The struggle
there's something that's not always good.
Yeah. Go.
When you do that build a box event, Trey, because it is really fun. When you're opening your packs, you think about ways to break the game.
Yeah.
Right? One event I won it, I was playing Luke Green. It was by far the best hero combo in JTL pre-release. And I just put in all the shoot downs and all the ambush fighters that I got, the Eagle Scout ships. So it was just amazing removal. And you just look for ways to break the game. If I was opening those packs, the first thing I would have been is how many gonk droids did I pull? Do I have 6 gonk droids? Let's see if I can get 3 out at once.
Right. Some of the guys
things like that. So that's what you look at.
A couple of the guys, what they were trying to do was they built Dedra decks that went because it's limited. There's no limit on the number of copies of a card you can put in your deck. You have a small deck, and you're opening lots of packs. So they had lots of It's like they go for mass weenie deck, right? So it was all the little Warrior of Clan Ordos and all the little 2-drop 3/3s they could find, the Imperial Dark Troopers. And the first round I played against a Dedra Green that ran my face over by aggressive negotiations on Dryden Voss, and he hit my base for 14 or 12 or something. And it's well, there's the game, right? And then so I learned very quickly I needed to put some extra Sentinels in the deck. So I took a moment and swapped in a couple extras and ran that deck the rest of the day and did much better. So yeah, that's one of the ways, as Ian points out, is you can quote unquote break the game by using the lack of limited build restrictions and the larger than normal card pool to really pack a bunch of something into the deck if you can pull enough of it.
All right. Well, maybe next time.
But that's not the only thing you did. Only weird pre-release.
Yeah, moving to the other end of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I can see that, I can see there's maybe some potential in Build-A-Box. I would want to massage the rules. The other end of the spectrum of fun is I had some extra sets, some extra pre-release kits, and so I held a second one that was Twin Suns. And so everybody got 2 pre-release kits, so you get half a box. And I couldn't remember the last time I did this, whether it was either we did the full 80 card decks or it was before we had the number had gone from 50 to 80.
Okay.
I couldn't remember which one of those. So I let people start building, and then I tried to go to 80. Can we do 80? Can we do 80? Is anybody not going to be able to hit 80? And we settled on 70. So we settled on 70 card decks. But it's still singleton. So if you open 6 Gonk Droids, you only get to play the one, because that's part of what makes Twin Suns fun, is you just get 1 of every card. And so we opened 12 packs each, a half a box, and you go talk about a shift in perspective of with the Build-A-Box, build a 30 card deck where you open, it's 30 packs, and you get basically replay 1 card per pack. Mm-hmm. When you open half a box and you play 70 of those cards, you're playing everything. You're going to cut out white or black, but other than that, you play almost everything. And so you have all these crazy cards that you'll probably never play again that end up impacting the game. It was amazing. It was so much fun to have. We played Twin Suns. I had ended up had enough people sign up that I had to break open. I ran out of kits and had to just start giving people 12 packs. And then if they wanted the new leaders, I would have just given them the new leaders instead of giving them the promos that come in the kits. So we had 3 tables of twin suns that were running. We ran 2 full games. There were not really any prizes because on the line because it's a casual format.
Yeah.
We just wanted to get together and play. But man, we had a lot of fun. I had some of the coolest, one of the coolest plays I've done in a very long time. So just to talk about this one play, I'm very proud of this play. So when I play twin suns, I like putting my opponents in a situation where it's they kill somebody, they heal for 5, and then I kill them or I knock them back down. So I let them use their big guy to kill somebody else, and then I have all my guys stood up to go after them to try and take the win from them. Well, I had that done to me. And so the guy sitting to my right, he sets the game up and he ends up getting to a spot where now it's my turn to go, and I can attack the person across from me and kill him and knock him out of the game and trigger the final round, and I get to heal 5, but then he is just going to beat me down, the guy who put me in this position, and I'm going to lose because I'm not going to kill anybody. If I don't do that, it goes back around to him, and he kills this guy, and so then he heals for 5, and I can't catch up with my guys. So I didn't care for that position at all. I'm not a fan of that one. I'm supposed to be the one that does that to people. So I went in the tank for a while, like trying to, can I do this? Can I do this? And then I like told him what he had done. Like he didn't tell me what he had done, but I recognized it. And I was like, that's not the whole conversation. That's what I do. You know, this is not what you're supposed to do to me.
Trey had this real Walter White moment, apparently, is what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I'm the one who knocks.
You're in my shop, kid. You can't do this.
So I go deep, and I'm thinking, and then like eventually it was like, all right, you got to make a play. And so then as I just gonna do something, I'm gonna get the kill. Fine, I'll get second. It clicks, and I have in my hand, I have the upgrade that when it's exhausted, you get Sentinel.
Oh yeah.
So if I could have taken 2 rounds, if I could have played that on my guy and then gone back around and then attacked to get the kill with that guy, now I can defend against me losing, and then I can take the 5 points away. But I couldn't get 2 actions. I specifically said, hey, this is my pre-release. Can I have 2 actions? And they said no.
In fairness, I would have told you the same thing. Please pound sand. So
yeah,
do continue.
Sure.
Yes, I am.
But so I take that card out of my hand, and I played it on the guy that was about to die. I played it on his guy that was already exhausted. And so his guy that was already exhausted had Sentinel, and all it did was prolong the whole thing around. But I felt very, very clever at coming up with that and being able to play it and keep him alive. And I enjoyed that. Some of the other stuff in this pre-release, me and another guy that was there played. I in playing this in limited, having seen how this works, I want to go build this deck in real Twin Suns. Is the new Jabba and Sly more.
Okay. Ooh.
So like when you
I like where you're going.
You Sly Moore has a big butt, so you flip her over and you flip Jabba over, and then you like attack with Sly and you hit something for 2, and then you hit it for all the damage that's on her. It's pretty impressive. Or like whatever you attack, like I attack with Sly, I kill something that has 2 health left that's exhausted, and then I run into your guy. Your guy hits me for a lot, and so then Jabba like does all that damage to something else. It was laying waste to the board. It was so much fun.
The amount of crazy
going about that a lot.
The amount of crazy Jabba plays that I saw over the course of the various pre-release events really made my eyebrows go up on that leader. Like, wow, okay, this is really interesting. The coolest one I saw, the box pre-release that we did with Julio, right? One of the guys had paired Nihilus. He had pulled a Nihilus, the legendary, just regular old black Sith unit, and using that guy with Jabba was obscene. Because he would attack something, he deals 7 damage. He basically outright murders it. On attack, Nihilus deals damage somewhere else. And then the damage that Nihilus takes, Jabba then bounces off to somebody. It was crazy how quickly he could clear the board with that thing. I killed that guy as quick as I could. It was rough.
Yeah. The Jabba's flip side is really powerful.
Yes, it is.
Build around it. I kind of want to
it is.
See if there's a way I can figure out to use some sort of unwhite Wookiees with it. Those big from back in the day when they built Wookiees that
there are some neutral
low
ones.
damage, high health. Yeah. I want to take a look at that.
Okay. Definitely.
So that's my pre-release experience. I had multiple regular pre-releases. I had the big box pre-event, which I would like to make some rule changes on to make it more fun, and then the Twin Suns one that I thought was outstanding,
crazy and fun.
Ian, I know you only got to play in the one, but to hit us up, what did you play? How'd you do?
I lost to you, Wes. You know exactly how I did.
Oh, come on!
I went 2-1 and lost to Wes.
In fairness, both of you guys lost to me in that event, so don't feel special. You were not alone.
I played Palp Red. It was really fun.
Okay.
I had a Cinta, and a couple other really good plot cards to be able to play out. So it was a lot of fun. Made me think about actually playing Palp in general, but
flip turn when we played was horrifying because you flipped Palp, you showed me Cinta, and you showed me a sudden was it the Dogmatic Squadron? No, it was a sudden ferocity.
Okay, yeah.
That you put into put on one of your space units. So you
and got that attack in right away.
You got it. Well, yeah, I think you attacked. I remember you attacked. I think you attacked with Palp right away because I didn't have a space unit in space.
Yeah, maybe
but
that was it.
Anyway, it was crazy. I was like, okay, this is nasty.
Cheating resources is always something that is just amazing in any version of this game.
It was strong without feeling cracked, broken, right? Like it was like, okay, that's really good, like solid.
Yeah, plot's an interesting mechanic so far. You're kind of like you're blowing your wad, obviously, on your flip, but it's interesting because I thought the couple of times I did it with playing Boba in Constructed, I thought it would be terrible, but it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But I played one and I did okay.
Okay.
I'm just saying okay because I had a chance to win and I didn't win and I get mad. and of all people, it had to be Wes.
The fun thing, one of the things I love about pre-releases is I go in, I like sealed events. I go in with no expectation and no pressure on myself at all because it's like, I don't know what I'm going to pull. I don't even know what I'm going to play. That to me, that's fun, but it's also to me, for me at least, it kind of absolves me. It feels like of any responsibility. Like, I mean, you could just pull crap and have to try to muddle through, and maybe you do okay, and maybe you don't. I don't know, but I generally don't mind those.
So that's actually what I did in that event. Was I pulled crap, and the things I wanted to hit on is I don't know that there is a definitive best leader for limited in this because I've played a different leader in every event that I've played, and they all have strong cards to go with them.
Yeah.
In that event, I felt like I had a terrible pool, and I was forced to go with Asajj. I played yellow in a limited event, and it worked out well. It was a little difficult, and I played. Isn't that the one I played Asajj?
Asajj?
Not Asajj. Sly. I get them confused.
There we
Sly
go.
Moore.
Okay. You didn't play Sly Moore against me that day. You were playing Leia when we sat down. Yeah.
Okay. I get they all run together.
They all run together. I get it.
I played Jabba. I've played Sly Moore. I don't know. I played what's the one? Satine in one of them.
Oh wow.
Like, every leader felt like I had something I could do with it. I was pleased that I was able to play with yellow. That was fun. I don't know. I didn't like yellow and Legend of the Force. I don't really like it now. It feels very narrow. I don't like all the extra events. That make
a lot of events.
Have the right dudes. But I'm having a good time with a bunch of different leaders.
I think the key with yellow and all of the events is to really pick out the ones in that format that are gross. For my money in this set, the one event that I would probably play in my deck, the one yellow event that I will play even out of aspect is Beguile. That card is really, really, really good.
Which one is it? What does that do?
It's a 3-draw. I think it's a 3-cost event. Maybe it costs more. I don't remember what it costs. 3 or 4. It's a bounce card. You look at your opponent's hand.
Oh, yeah.
And then
it costs 3.
It costs okay, and then you can a unit that costs 6 or less, you can put it back into their hand. So we've seen some crazy stuff that gets built up with experience or upgrades or plot attachments. There's a lot of good 6-flip leaders that get stuff plotted onto them, and Beguile being able to come in and say, I can't, we can at least, I mean, you can't bounce the leader unit, but whatever. The bottom line is you can start messing with things depending on where the plot upgrades go. And I really like that card. I actually was playing that in that Luthen deck. I never needed it, but it worked out. I liked having it in there. It was an easy include for me. So I played Luthen in that particular one, the one at Dragon's Lair. That deck was surprisingly good. If Luthen is left on his own to sit on his front side and not like axed, he can do horrible things to your opponent. I had sort of said
the leader side,
where every time you have a guy that dies, when you attack and your guy dies, he can then direct 2 damage to either a unit or a base. I did horrible things to Ian with that. In fact, I really think, Ian, you flipped over Palpatine, and I think in our game, I think if you had killed Luthen, that game becomes incredibly hard for me.
That's why I don't want to talk about it. I replayed that in my head all night. All night. I was like, if I had taken out Luthen, and then I had a couple other cards, the one thing I really liked about my pre-release kit was it had a lot of bombs.
Yes.
So I was playing a lot of bombs, and I was like, I had the bombs in my hand to finish it out, and I don't want to talk about it. You can stop talking about that pre-release. Go to a different pre-release.
Fair enough.
Go forward.
We talked earlier. I played Leia at the box release. I had a really, really good pile there. Well, a lot of really, really good cards. Trey, the one that I kind of floundered at, I didn't know what to do, was the one that your place on that Thursday night after we recorded the last episode. Okay. I started off. What did I build? I think I built I built Dedra or Yularen? I don't remember. I built a villain leader. I can't remember which one now. Okay. And wait, you know what it was? I think I built Jabba. Right out of, that's what it was. I played Jabba my first 2 games. And as much fun as I had playing the deck, I couldn't get over the finish line with him. I would get to like 20, the high 20, mid 20s to damage, and then he would run out of gas, and I could not get there. I don't know if it was the card pool or if I was playing the deck wrong. I was really struggling with it. And before game 3, I completely changed the deck over, and I think I yanked Jabba out, and I think I went Dedra. I changed to Dedra just to try her out. Like, I want to put this card on the table, and I won those games. And I was like, okay, so maybe Jabba and I just don't agree. I don't know. I have to go back and look at him again. I think I just hadn't wrapped my brain around that deck yet. But I had the pre-release, the sealed format in this set is very, very good, guys. If you're considering limited events, limited PQs, there's a lot of limited PQs on the slate this year. There's one in Dallas for us, right, up in late January. Definitely, I would encourage you to try those and give those a shot, because the limited environment for the set I thought was really, really good. Which then brings me to the next natural topic of, okay, but now that limited is done for a spell, what are you going to build? Ian, you didn't have a lot last night, but you still came in with a couple of interesting decks. Talk to me about what you brought.
Yeah, I brought some really ugly proxies. Is what
you did. You had a lot of really nasty looking proxies, but that's fine. No one cares. It's just local proxy, whatever, man.
3 seconds. Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, I need
cares.
To make these, and I need these cards.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I updated my Yoda, or switched it up. I moved Yoda to yellow. I feel it plays better in this set in yellow.
Interesting.
So it was green before, right? It was Yoda green.
It was green. I was playing Yoda Data Vault. I think it plays better on yellow because of what's the name of the card? I forgot to write it down.
What does it do?
Let me look at it quick. It's the one where you exhaust 2 resources.
It's called The Wrong Ride.
The Wrong Ride. So I had a game I was playing yesterday where I started my Yoda flip turn by playing that. The turn before, I had played Eye of
Aldani. Eye of Aldani. Oh, this is nasty. Okay. I see what you're doing.
Right? And then I take it. Anthony played another play. I took initiative. So instead of flipping Yoda right away, he decided he was going to only ready 2 resources, and I drew it. So I played it right off the top. And that was fantastic, because now he's completely hamstrung. He's got no resources to play at all. And I'm flipping out Yoda, and I clear the board. And then before he can blink, I've got Yoda, Luke, and Emphas Nest on the board. And it's just game over at that point.
Emphas is definitely game over.
Yeah, it's nothing special, the Yoda deck. It's nothing special. It's just the whole idea behind the build is get to Yoda, right? Just outlast your opponent, get to Yoda, and then when you flip Yoda, you get a little more control and you can finish out the game with the bigger bombs. Trey played it a little. I thought it played pretty well, for its first build. It's gonna take some more changes, but it played pretty well for Yoda. So I think that's where I'm gonna go Yoda. What did you think,
The wrong
Trey?
ride was dominant. It was. I mean, it was when I used it. I only used it one time, and I didn't even use it as a plot. I used it just playing it. So I was playing against a ramp deck, like a mono green ramp deck, that I was just hitting him down, and I stayed off of the ground and in space, so his little guys couldn't help him ramp. And I had initiative going into the 5 resource turn, and just immediately slammed it down, and I stranded overwhelming barrage in his hand. And I was able to, the guy that I played on 2, the guy that I played on 3, and the guy that I played on 4 all got an extra hit in because I stopped him from playing overwhelming barrage because I went first, and then he's on to 6, and he's welcome to play it. Overwhelming barrage at 6 is way easier to handle than overwhelming barrage at 5. So it was good.
So in other words, you didn't play it out of plot. You just played it as an event straight out of your hand for 3.
Yeah,
I just played it as an event out of my hand. I was like, he's in green and black, and he's going to overwhelming barrage me. No, he's not. I'm going to tap 3. I'm going to play this card out of my hand and just first action. And then he couldn't do anything. He was like, I'll attack you for 2 with this disco DJ Death Star guy. And like, that was all he could do.
Yay. I really do feel like those middle turns, right? Navigating probably the 5, 6, and 7 resource rounds in most games is going to be where the game is won or lost now. Between plot and all of the ability to manipulate your opponent's resources, between Eye of Aldani and the Wrong Ride and all these other cards that do it, it's going to be really, really tricky and interesting to watch high level decks and high level play try to figure that out. I'm as a caster, I can't wait. It's going to be pure entertainment.
And then I updated my Boba deck. Just put Cinta in it and
that's probably all you need. Don't need anything else.
What did you yank for Cinta? What did you take out for Cinta? You remember?
For Cinta, I took out. I don't remember. I know for Top of the Summit, I took out IG-88 because I was playing IG-88.
Okay.
So I pulled him out and I put 2 Top of the Summits in. What did I pull out? Pulled out a ground unit. I can't remember. I pulled out a low end ground unit.
Okay.
And put in a cheaper one. I can't remember which one. To put in Cinta because you can still play it out of your hand too to attack with a unit. A 5/5 unit and an attack to get an extra turn is pretty awesome. And that played fantastic, just as the way Boba always does. Boba flip, overwhelming barrage, attack with Cinta. A lot of really good combos there. And then something I've been working on for like 2 months now on Karabast was a C-3PO deck. I wanted to see if I could win with what I thought was really a trash leader.
And as it turns out,
I put together. It turns out you can win some games with C-3PO. I played C-3PO red. The deck doesn't even have a single new card in it. I'm just using
except for the leader.
Except for the leader.
Yeah, except for the leader. Yeah.
But it plays a bunch of other cards that are good.
Yeah.
That you don't. It plays a bunch of other cards that you don't play. So it feels like you're playing new cards because they're cards you've not played.
Never played
from
before.
Previous sets.
It had originally started as a swarm deck where I was using the swarm droids all in space, and then somehow evolved into a rebel deck because that's where I just seem to be most comfortable at is playing the rebels, I guess from set 1. So I put in Boba.
Rebels have a lot
it's got
of
a bunch
damage.
of little. Yeah, it's got a lot of push damage, a lot of little interactions. So like a lot of 1-drops with droids, but then you use Boba Fett to use their health as their attack. C-3PO, if you can get C-3PO out and Boba Fett out to attack with C-3PO, he's like a 6 damage unit, which is fantastic.
For 6 on the 4 resource turn. You're just getting them for 6.
Turn.
Eat your heart out, Kylo Ren.
Just kill something.
Like having 2 1-drops out and then playing out what's the card? Red 3?
Mm-hmm.
Set 1. Yeah, red 3 to amp up your damage. A lot of pilot cards to play like a free R2 out of.
Okay.
It has a lot of some of the plays that I took nothing. I was busy all week. I didn't have time to build anything, and nothing. I wasn't really excited about anything, so I showed up with nothing and just borrowed decks. So I borrowed this. This is the first thing I borrowed was from Ian, was this deck. So some of the other things that you play, the original OG yellow Leia on your first turn, untap your own resource, drop a 1.
Yep.
A 1-drop something, and then on turn 3 you play the thing that gives them all raid 1, and then you just like you're super aggro, or you play the 3-drop that says attack with a rebel and it gets +2, that type of thing. Those are fun. Babu Frick is really good with all of the droids. You're filtering your deck with your R2D2, and then it has like what was the one that it had, the Millennium Falcon that gets bigger when you put pilots on it, and so like you have that with the Han Solo pilot card that you just play on and immediately attacks. So like,
and that's good for ground too, because it ambushes on the ground, which is helpful.
What does?
The Han pilot. If you play it on the ground, it's
if you just play it on the ground,
4/5 ambush.
Never do that at all.
Yeah, it's a 4/5 ambush, so it helps you clear the ground sometimes too.
Yeah, so I didn't lose a game with that one. I was attacking for like 1/1. I would attack for 2 or 3 in the second turn by playing the red 3, and then I would attack for like take 7 with this Han Solo Millennium Falcon, and then kill it or die. Like it was a lot of fun. It felt like the 2 decks that I had the most fun with were complete opposite ends.
The first game you played against Mendoza, watching him scratch his head, trying to figure out what's going on, because there's so many little interactions that are happening so fast. You have to choose, like, okay, do I get rid of the rebels? What's going on in space now? What do I do? The deck is very susceptible to removal, though. Once you start adding in removal, like Power of the Dark Side, Fell the Dragon, all those little cards that do removal, Overwhelming Barrage.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, it has no it has no like end game.
Right.
So, I made a couple of changes.
I didn't play against either one of those, but just like thinking about what cards are in the deck, it feels like it would have game against those more so than against other decks would, because like Power of the Dark Side, if I played two units on turn 1, I'm swinging in turn 2, and you're not totally nullifying my first play. Overwhelming Barrage, it does a lot of damage, but all of my guys are 1/4s or 1/3s, so you have to eat up a ton of that damage that you're doing just to kill one guy. So
like what was it?
I didn't play it against
Anthony. Had it against.
So I don't know for sure.
Anthony had that Sly deck where once Sly's on the board, I can't get rid of Sly. I have nothing on the ground that can do 6 damage, and she was just attack, and here's 2 damage to this tiny unit that dies, and attack. Here's 2 damage to this tiny unit. So it does have some, it's not perfect yet, but I think it's going to get better and better as I play it. But it's a hell of a lot of fun to play. It may be stupid and trash, but it's so fun.
Okay.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Trey, what have you now?
So that's
now
everything
that
I built.
Trey, now that you've you've stolen other people's decks, and played their shenanigans, what's in your brain? What's got you excited to get to the table and start putting stuff together?
So, the one that I was most excited about after last night. Let me back up a little bit. If we rewind a year and a half, when the game first came out, we played with a guy named Fernando. He's a good friend of mine. He came up with a double green Palpatine from back in the day, and I got very excited about it because it looked very powerful. And then I took it, I built my own, I made some tweaks, and then I got really good at playing that deck, and I loved that deck. And I ended up winning a couple of store championships, which was the biggest thing that I took it to. I had a blast with that deck, and I haven't done something similar, or I haven't done kind of anything similar since then. Since then, yeah. So last night, Fernando shows up with a double green villain deck. Only this one is Dryden Boss, who I haven't given any time of day to. I haven't given him anything thought to this guy about whether he's. I don't know. I didn't look at him and go, that sucks, I don't want to play it. I just hadn't considered it at all. And then I got to watch Fernando play the AT-AT that when it kills something, it deals the rest of its damage to all the stuff on the ground. Play that with ambush and wreck another side of the table. I was so excited watching this deck. I was like, I would just sit next to him, like bouncing around, and like
you were vibrating, Trey.
It was so cool.
You were vibrating.
It was just it was so much fun. Like, we had a thing a while back where we that card that edit sucked, and so we redesigned it. How would you have done it better?
Right.
And to see that card actually get used and be awesome, like
Well,
I'm really excited about that one.
It's like we talked about you and I briefly last night, right? Like that card, if you can ambush it, it's obscenely good, right? Because of how that thing works. But without ambush, it's pretty mediocre, isn't it? And it's subject to some kind of junk removal spell, like a Fell the Dragon or whatever. Like you may never actually get to attack with it. But ambushing that thing previously you could only do that with Piet unit from set 1, and I think Timely Intervention. There might be another way, but those are the only two that immediately come to my brain. So I mean, but now Dryden Voss can just be like, nope, have fun with this. Eat AT-AT to the face. He
does?
Yeah.
And then he has the plot First Light, the giant spaceship that has an ambush that when you kill something, you draw cards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just slapping down. I watched the guy who was playing against Mark was playing what's her name?
That's Talzin Red. That was his Talzin Red.
Talzin Red. Dude, yeah, Talzin Red deck's pretty good.
Good deck.
And so I watched Fernando slap down this guy and like wipe the other guy's side of the board, and then he killed but it took a lot of damage. So then he lost his AT-AT. It died. He lost his giant unit, and then he just went draw 2 cards. Here's another giant unit, and then the other guy dealt with that. You draw 2 cards. Here's another giant. It was just laying down incredibly large unit after incredibly large unit and running the other guy out of answers, and it was awesome. It was so much fun to watch. So that's the one that I'm most excited about.
Okay.
I have a bunch of other ideas. I had conversations last night. Things like the Han Solo, I think it's from JTL, the one that when you flip him, you get to untap a bunch of resources.
He's going to be so good.
Plot.
Yeah, it's obscene how good that is.
With plot to do multi-plots.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
We're all going to get sick of seeing him because that's going to be a very popular and a very strong deck. Just because of the way the plot mechanics work. If he draws into the right plot cards and is able to, resource them and have his big plot turn, it's going to be massive.
One of the ones that I didn't see anybody play this, but I just was kind of perusing. It would be interesting to me to see what Wat Tambor can do with spies. So the Twilight guy, when something like your spies just die all the time and you make them cheaply, and so using Wat's +2/+2, that seems like it would be a good
kids play,
an effective thing. I've got a list here. I just want to go down. I want to revisit Nala Se. I don't know if she'll be any good at this moment, but I want to go see what I can do with clones.
Exciting
stuff.
What brought about the Nala Se idea specifically? Was there a specific clone in this?
I have no idea. There's no card I have in mind doing that. I just feel like if I go back and look, I'll be able to find clones. And now that we have the full six sets to choose from, the things that I can put with the clones might be interesting. I like the idea of playing things. Actually, what brought it to mind is being able to play all the officials off aspect.
Yeah.
With what's her name?
Mon Mothma.
Just the Mon Mothma. The concept of playing off aspect cards without paying the penalty is got my juices flowing. I wonder if I can, now that I have the full 6 sets to go pair with all the clones, I wonder if I can do anything exciting with that.
Okay, I like the idea.
So, yeah.
I like the Wat Tambor deck. Remind me, and I'll send you a link, because one of the decks that I have long wanted to attempt and have been trying literally since the card was printed is Moff Gideon. Right, Moff Gideon wants to work off of an army of smaller units, right, 3 drops or less. When they printed Captain Enoch in the last set, I remember thinking, is there a way to engineer this with troopers to where the troopers get into the discard pile and then Enoch becomes decent and gets overwhelmed and all this stuff? And the answer was not really. But now with spies, between spies and battle droids and all the other ways to generate token units in green, I feel like there's some juice there with Gideon. And I need to have a look at that. I've actually got a list that one of the guys over on the KTOD Discord was messing with, and I stole a copy of that deck, and I'm going to look at that. So I'll shoot that one to you. Maybe it plants some ideas for you for your Wat Tambor thing.
Nice. All right.
I built a few random things kind of in a big rush on Monday night. Piet Data Vault has been kind of a pet project of mine for a while because I think Piet in double green is solid. I didn't have great games with it last night. Not that 3 games is a massive sample size. The 2 cards that really went into that deck to kind of change it, in my opinion, are the Dark Trooper and the Gonk Droid. Because now suddenly Gonk, because now Gonk and Piet can produce ridiculous possibilities if you can draw one in your opening hand, which of course I never did. But the point remains that with the right cards and the right line, that can be a far more explosive deck than you would typically expect. And my version of that needs some love and some work. I was really struggling with draws last night, so I was talking to Trey maybe I need to put Prepare for Takeoff in this deck after all. So we'll see where that lands. But yeah, that's a passion project of mine. We'll see where that one goes. You guys remember back at Gen Con, we talked briefly about it. There was a Lando Tarkin Town deck that did really well at Gen Con over the summer. Old Lando from set 2. I remember when they introduced Plot, I remember thinking, I wonder if Lando can abuse Plot the same way that maybe Han could, JTL Han can. Last night, I did not have good games with him. That deck is way more challenging to play than I realized because there's so many good smuggle cards that you have to kind of constantly remember that they're there and factor those into your turn and remind yourself that you can play them, below curve but you're costing yourself a resource, temporarily, you're having to burn a resource. I need more reps with that deck. I'm not convinced that Plot is going to be a mainstay in that deck, but I like the possibilities of it. And I really do feel like Wrong Ride is a really good card in that deck to mess with your opponent while you're trying to throw your weenie hordes at him. So we'll see if that one goes anywhere. Probably not, but it was fun to try. What else did I build? Barris Blue is one that I've been just wanting to build forever. I finally got all the cards together to do it. It wasn't until a few weeks ago that I managed to get my third Vader from JTL. So finally, I had all the cards. I put that deck together. I only got one game into it with Ian, and it wasn't a great game. There's a lot of I didn't play a lot of Force decks in LOF, and there's a lot of nuance to sequencing things correctly to make sure you have the Force token at the right time. And I absolutely borked it in our game, which 100% cost me even a chance at even staying in the game. In the end, he had the cards in his hand, and it wouldn't have mattered either way. But I was kicking myself, like if I had sequenced this correctly, I could have done this thing, and then it would have been another round before he killed me. That kind of thing. But that's the kind of that's just some of that is deck building and some of that is reps. I think the trick for me for Barris, and I was telling Ian this last night, is going to be trying to figure out what events is it you really narrow it down to make that deck solid one way or another. Like, what are they going to look like? I think Shin Flurry is a lock. I think Now There Are Two of Them is a lock. And then after that, I have so many questions, right? Like it could be all kinds of things. A million good blue events. Eye of Aldani is one I should probably try, right? Because it's only when I look at Barris, I try to focus on free. Exactly. I'm trying to focus on cheaper 1-drop events. Like I put some sneak attacks in there on a whim, thinking this could be good because I could sneak out a Vader or sneak out a Sun or something really, really impactful, get a swing with it, get the bonus off of it, and then maybe clean up the board. However, I think Sneak Attack has some potential, but I think Eye of Aldani is one that I had glossed over, and I think I need to have a look at that one because I feel like that one could be really, really big. Take initiative, first action, play Eye of Aldani. Or no, you plan to play Eye of Aldani in the previous round. Yeah.
You want to play it right before you want to claim.
Yeah, you want to play it before the round.
It's like your stall tactic.
Yeah.
If your opponent has a large board, you want to draw it out.
Right.
Let them keep building the board before you play it. Because if you play it early, they're just going to claim.
Yeah, they'll just blow you off. They'll just, okay, I'll pay my 2 and move on.
The couple of times it was effective for me, I played it late where they've already got 4 or 5 units. Yeah. And now you're going into a turn where you're like, wow, I've got a...
Yep.
Am I going to be able to play anything from my hand? So,
that's another deck. Maybe I should look at the Wrong Ride in. We've talked about how impactful that card is. Anyway, so I got a lot of work to do on that one. Like I love the idea of Barris Blue. I just need to put more time into it. And then the one that Trey tried that I was really, really keen to try but didn't actually get any games into is Asajj Red. Just old Pilot Asajj from set 4, which is a regular old 30-point red base. Trey, I think, told me, he goes, you have some really interesting ideas in here. but it needs a lot of love. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's a rough draft, right? Like you're the only person to put on the table, and I think you played what, 2 games with it, maybe 3.
I played 2.
Okay,
I mean, I played 1 and then lost the second one too.
Right. So it again, I when I laid that deck out, I was telling Trey this last night. When I laid that deck out originally, it had like 70 cards in it, and I had to like really pare it down. I was trying to do too much. It's still probably trying to do too much. So I need to look at that one again. And his point earlier about New Grievous and Soulless One is interesting as well. Maybe looking in red is the wrong way to go. Maybe I should be looking at pairing it with yellow, right? And doing shenanigans that way. So anyway, more thinking required. But that's kind of what I've been messing with, just to kind of, just try things, just see what's out there. Some leaders that I've been putting off messing with for a very, very long time. I do have some good news to report on a completely unrelated subject. Well, loosely related subject, guys. If you remember a couple of episodes ago, I talked about we had a little kind of closing conversation about future streaming coverage, and I was going to write FFG a letter, right? I wrote them. You guys saw the draft of it. I wrote them this letter basically saying, you guys really need to step up and start covering your own events, your own big events, your sectors and regionals, the way you do in Europe that needs to happen in the U.S. I got to have a really good conversation earlier this week. Was it this Monday? Yeah, it was just a couple days ago. It was this Monday with Jack, the new community, somewhat newish community manager over there. He had been talking amongst the team, the organized play guys, and I don't know if what I contributed actually, made a significant impact, but they are making changes here. They are absolutely going to take this a lot more seriously going forward. So. Ian, you and I had a great time in Denver, but the days of people having to hopefully fund those kinds of trips completely out of their own pocket are over, which is encouraging to me. Now, what form that's going to take? Really cool. Yes. What form it's exactly going to take, I think, is still up in the air. He shared some things with me that I'm not. He basically said, no, don't spread that around just yet. I'm like, that's fair, because they're still getting a lot of things figured out contractually in the background.
Don't share. You're on a podcast that people listen to, and he said, don't spread that around.
No, the part that I just shared, I specifically confirmed I could talk about. Okay. But there are other things. There are other things, goals that they have set, like things they are trying to do that because they're not firmed up, locked in stone yet. He was like, this is where we want to be, but because we're not there yet, don't, let us work on it. And when it's formal and finalized, we'll announce it and let everybody know. And I'm like, brilliant. I'm just glad to know that they're taking it seriously and progress is being made. So kudos to them for recognizing this.
Maybe not grainy sectors this time, yeah?
You should not have that problem again. Let's just put it that way.
That'd be great.
Yep, that would be good. That would be good.
Can I ask one question? If you can't answer, that's fine too.
Ask away, and I will let you know.
Raptor in any of those plans to do any streaming, or is that
at this moment? At this moment, the answer is no. Okay, I'll just answer it. The answer is no. Okay, I can't cover Arizona, and they have different plans for Milwaukee right now. So that's all I'll say. Okay. We'll see where it shakes out after that.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So I got 2 things.
Bring it.
We're starting to wind down the episode. The first one is I've been doing this podcast for a while now, and I haven't really pimped my website that I sell all this stuff on. And so
you sell singles. What?
I sell singles. I have a bunch of singles open for this set, an older set. I have sealed product. So if you're interested in doing business with somebody on this, what?
Don't forget about your awesome proxies, by the way.
Oh my God!
Those are exclusively through Etsy. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that I like making cards. I've played several games that I've made cards for. I got the bug after continuing Destiny, and I make my own cards for a lot of stuff. So that's my shop is. I live in Kingwood, Tech, not Kings, not plural, not Kings. I live in Kingwood, Texas, and so I go. I have a shop called Kingwood Hobbies, and so I have an Etsy presence. I have a TCG Player presence, and then I just have KingwoodHobbies.com. If I will. A secret is that if I get an order if I have one card and I get an order on TCG Player and I get an order on Kingwood Hobbies, the person at Kingwood Hobbies gets the card. So if you want, I'll sell them both. And if it's only ordered through TCG Player, then I'll send it to you. But if I prefer the Kingwood, the website, kingwoodhobbies.com. I do all the singles. I have thousands of singles. I lots of stuff. So if you're looking for some cards or some sealed product, carbonite, regular product, go ahead. And I'm not good at advertising. I want people to just think I'm cool and like doing business with me and do businesses. So I'm going to fumble
Shop
my way
at
through
Kingwood Hobbies.
Yeah.
We'll work on getting you some commercials made before the next time I cover a PQ.
I'm not good at, yeah, it's way better. The second one that Ian was talking about is I like making like alternate versions of leaders, and I've got 8 new ones for this set. I made a bunch of tokens. I made spy tokens that Wes
cool.
likes my spy tokens.
Oh my god, the spy tokens are amazing. Guys, okay, I am a child of the 80s. I remember Mad Magazine and Spy versus Spy. And Trey has made the most beautifully simple, gorgeous looking little spy versus spy tokens. White spy and black spy, right? And they are wonderful. I love them. They're amazing.
Perfect. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I couldn't for the spy tokens. I couldn't really settle on like what do I want to do for spy tokens. So they're all over the place.
They
so
are all over the place.
One side is the spy versus spy. The back is some custom art I had made for some spies. I have a whole other set of spies that use like Perry the Platypus and Black Widow and a whole nother piece of custom art. So I have a lot of spies to choose from. But if you're interested in checking out the alternate art stuff that I do, I usually will post it to the Facebook group, and you can just take the art that I have there and print up your own. Or if you want, I make really high quality cards myself. So if you want those, I have those. The printed versions of them are up on Etsy, also under Kingwood Hobbies, because that's kind of me.
The best part of those is they're waterproof.
They are waterproof, and they don't. You can't. You might be able to crease them if you try hard enough, but
you got to work at it.
It's a synthetic material. It's a synthetic material that is durable enough that I don't even put them in like hard plastic shells to mail them. When I mail them to people, they just go in a sleeve and go in and they show up perfect.
Yep.
But yes, they are waterproof. I tested that when I first started making cards. I like printed a card and just left it in a glass of water overnight, and it was still perfectly fine. So I do that. Yay, that was an ad for me, and I'm terrible at it.
That's okay. I'm happy to let you do that. Go ahead.
The second one is a thing that came out today, which I think is super cool. And I've just started playing around with it a little bit. It's called swuniversity.net. So it's SWU University, but there's only one U.
Yeah, it's Swoon. It's literally Swooniversity.
Yeah, so SWUniversity. That's the right to do it. It is just like a trivia thing. Like it's got multiple play modes. You can take a quiz where in Padawan you choose a Padawan mode, and I just click the button. It says player A controls Snowtrooper Vanguard and has 1 damage on their base. Then they play General Veers leading the assault. What best describes what happens next? And it's just got a series of things that might happen, and you choose one and submit an answer, and it tells you what it is. And you just kind of go through and it's just a fun and interesting rules. Or I know one of them was I did one of them, and it showed me a card, and it said one thing about this card is wrong. So like, is the cost wrong? Is the subtitle on the card? Like, you just have to know your cards. This one, is it IG 2000 that deals damage to 3 different units when it comes into play? There's the spaceship, and their version of the card said it deals 1 damage to up to 4 different units. And so I had to know that it dealt damage to 3, and I was able to get that one right. This is just a really interesting, and it's well put together. I just saw this today. Somebody posted about it on Reddit. Just if you're looking for a clever way to pass some time where you're not actually playing the cards against other people, you're just kind of reveling in the product and the cards and the games and the rules, swuniversity.net.
So fun fact, the guy who put that website together is a fellow content creator. His name is Mobius, Mobyus. You can look him up over on YouTube. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the show notes that go with the episode description. He does a recurring, regular thing on his channel called Do You Know SWU? Where he brings people
that's one
in.
Of the play modes.
That's exactly right. Where he brings people in and shows them a card that he has supposedly doctored, not always, in some way. and he has restrictions. He's like, I won't change.
Devious.
It is incredibly devious, but usually he tells you, I won't. There's two restrictions. Like, he won't change like the number of the card and the artist. I think those are the only two things he won't touch. Like, he's like, everything else is fair game. And then he challenges people. Can you figure out what's wrong with this card? And he brings in fellow content creators. When he went to Galactics, which was the last place I saw him, he went around and worked with 3 of the game developers and challenged them to this about their own game. You'll be glad to know they were all damn near perfect. They were all like 9 to 10 points on a 10-point game. So it was a lot of fun. It's a really unique thing he does on his channel, and a really, really, really fun thing. Definitely check him out. Throw him a follow.
Yeah, this is a cool website.
It is. It's a neat thing. I almost think it's actually not a terrible place to kind of do a little, am I really ready for judging? If I got my judge brain set where it needs to be before I take the judging exams and all that kind of stuff. There's some really interesting brain bendy questions in there. A couple of them remind me of that ridiculous math category. Remember the Swoo Jeopardy thing we did a while back, Trey? Right? That math category that I just hated. Ugh. There's some stuff in there that reminds me of that. So one more thing, a couple more things, odds and ends, guys. This weekend, right, is going to be the first big tournament of the new set. The Battle for Beatle is happening in Atlanta, Georgia. The Bothan Network guys are doing Beatle 2. They did their first one, I want to say back in March. But Frank and crew and the rest of the Bothan Network guys are going to put on a fabulous event at Cards HQ, which is, I believe, in Marietta, or just to the northwest side of Atlanta, Georgia. A lot of that is going to be streamed. They're going to have a big, I think it's like a 6 or an 8K event. They're going to have a big 3v3 tournament event. At one point they were trying to sucker us to come out there and play in the 3v3 event, I think, at one point. And unfortunately, obviously, we're not going. But guys, you should definitely check that out. I'm pretty sure it's going to be streamed on the Blonde Sabine channel. I'm pretty sure McClunky, I think Tim and Claire are going down. I'm not positive. I'll double check and put some streaming links for Beatle in there. But yes, definitely check that out. And go if you're looking for some swoo and to see what folks are playing out of the new set, go check that out this weekend. Ian,
high level players, a lot of
lot of really good players at this event, guys. Definitely go scope it out.
Yeah,
there's an event that was announced just a few hours ago in late January in your neck of the woods. Yeah. Did you see the thing that I sent you?
Old neck of the woods, San Diego. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so the Kyber Cup is an inaugural event being held in San Diego. It's scheduled for late January. And this is going to be another kind of team-based event that's being organized by guys who got in the habit of running this style of event for the old Game of Thrones LCG. Right, that FFG started, I want to say back in about 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. I forget when they brought that, or probably even before that, because that was the second edition. It existed before that. So a lot of those guys, the guys putting that on, are veterans of putting on big community events in that part of the world. We'll see where that one goes. But their format, I watched the video today, and just the format of the event is fascinating. It's going to produce some really interesting deck lists that I can't wait to see what folks come up with. That's going to be really, really neat. So I'll post the link to the Kyber Cup as in show notes as well. You can check that out. And if you're interested, if you live in Southern California or you want to willing to travel out there, definitely check that out and sign up for that event, because that's going to be really, really cool.
Funny coincidence too. I'll be in San Diego from the 14th to the 21st, so I'll be just missing this event.
Oh, it's gonna be right out. Yeah, it's gonna be right after that. It's like the 31st of. It's the 31st of January and the 1st of February is the actual tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be out a couple weeks before that.
Okay. All right then.
See my grandma.
I say going back to see family. I presume.
Grandma. Yeah, hi grandma. Grandma. I see my folks and everybody too, but I'm looking forward to seeing my grandma.
There we go. Awesome.
She's getting up there.
All right, boys. Well, unless you guys got something else, I say we wrap this up and let everybody go back to deck building and building games. Good. One quick housekeeping note. Our next Trey's already asleep. There he goes. He's out.
He's got soup belly. Soup belly.
Yeah, he had a big old bowl of soup for dinner, and now he's out. Our next episode would normally air on Black Friday. So here in the States, that's the day after American Thanksgiving. Don't expect an episode that day. We're going to push recording of that one a week. So the next episode will be a week later than you would anticipate based on our regular bi-weekly schedule. And we'll have to figure out what we're going to do in December, but we'll have that conversation offline and let you guys know. So just keep an eye out. Basically, this is going to be the last episode you're going to get in November. The next one will come in the first week of December. So enjoy your holiday if you're stateside. Otherwise, guys, we'll see you in December after we've all had a little turkey and some extra football.
Turkey and football, yes.
There you go. There you go. Trey's asleep again already. He's out. Awesome. Let's wrap it up. All right, guys. Peace. Y'all take care. Now. It's the turkey. Yeah, that's what it is. It's turkey soup. Even worse.
Turkey soup.
Did it to himself. Did it to himself. Yep. He's just gonna cruise. All right, guys. We're hanging it up. We'll catch y'all later. Have a good one. Peace.